Friends and lovers and all of the others, welcome to another episode of Pod from the Bunker. My name is Kev from the Bunker on Twitch. It's Kev D. Foster on all of my other socials. They are popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, we record it live on Twitch. And if you're watching this on Twitch, head over to my YouTube, hit the subscribe button, like this video, ask Kori some questions in the comments. Be cool about it because he's a cool dude. Today we have Kori Kameda, one of my great friends and a phenomenal musician who has broadened his horizons. I'll talk more with him in a minute, but I do want to mention that below in the description is all the links for Kori's information. He has a podcast and some other stuff there below. Also below is a link to my merch, and there's some affiliate links down there if you're looking to learn an instrument. There are some different instructional sign-ups. You can sign up for a guitar lessons or things like that. So scroll down to the very bottom for the affiliate links. And yeah, back to Kori. Kori is a extremely talented musician, singer, songwriter, and producer and engineer. And he has a phenomenal story, and I can't wait to get into it with him. So without further ado, I think it's time. Let's bring in Mr. Kori Kameda, and I hope you guys enjoy this show. Thank you for being here today, and let's get to it. Hey, buddy, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Kev?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for doing this with me, man. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see your smiling face.
My pleasure, buddy.
And it's also nice to see that hair coming in strong. You started that at the beginning of the pandemic?
Yeah, thanks. I grew this myself. Yeah.
No help?
It's been, probably 2 years now.
Nice. Well, I'm going to ceremoniously crack my beer on the microphone.
I'm going to pour a mega pint.
Okay. And we're going to... It's wine. Oh, the Johnny
Why
Depp.
not?
The Johnny Depp, a mega pint. I got you now. Okay. Cheers, buddy. And congratulations on your new music.
Thank you. It's just slowly starting to make its way out.
Cool.
It's a bit of a different release process for me this time around. Usually is, but yeah, no, it's very exciting. Yes.
Awesome,
Thank you.
dude. Why in the world do you play music?
To quote Tom Waits, music is just a very interesting thing to do with the air around you. I think that's the long and short of it for me.
Okay.
But it's something that I feel a pretty deep connection with, and it seems to evolve as time goes on. The reason I got into music was just excitement, and then it has so many just different processes to it. You know, I can emote through it. I can make money doing it. I can express. It seems to be within my capabilities, so I enjoy, feeling good about something that I'm doing. Like a skill set or something.
You're an artist. You're a creator.
I have my times where I certainly feel so, and then there's so many times where it feels like a lot of work, and I actually really enjoy that part of it too. I like the puzzle of music.
Right. So talk to me about what success is to you regarding music.
Success in music are good friends at a bar.
Okay.
That's a great
I don't know.
answer. I think success in music is a lot of oh geez. I don't know about that one. I think like in some ways success can just be finding the right chord for the song.
Okay.
Success can be monetary.
Okay.
I feel like it's an ever changing thing. Success in music. I don't think because once you get used to a certain amount of success in music, it becomes boring. Like if you write the greatest song in the world, I'm sure after you played it 100,000 times, it's probably not as exciting. It doesn't seem as successful, you know. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never had a song like that, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's such a changing world because there are very few bands that have a song that's 30 years old anymore that they're maybe tired of playing. A lot of songs hit and they're gone, and people probably aren't tired of playing them yet, but the lifespan of that song is super short now. Can you
Well, it's crazy. I mean, I remember seeing this interview with Brian Adams one time, and they're like, "So, Brian, Summer of '69. Like, do you ever get tired of playing it?" And he's like, "Are you kidding me? Do you know? Do you know how much success that song has brought my life? Like, everything he's been able to do in his entire life is like basically riding on that song. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's another way of looking at it right there too, through his lens.
Right,
So,
right. He's like, yeah, you have to love that song that made you. And a lot of people say that when they go to play the Opry or something. It's like, what are you going to play? Well, I'm going to play the song that got me here. That's what I'm going to do. Like I owe
sure,
homage to that
yeah.
song almost. They almost owe that song a little bit of something back somehow in some way, shape, or form.
I agree with that because I think that, you know what? Like, I think that what we enjoy about music is very after the fact of what it actually is. I think music is a resulting sense. It's a result to our senses that we're able to perceive. But I mean, you've had it that time when you're playing on stream or playing a show or whatever, and you're reading comments at the same time, and you're like, I know exactly what I'm going to go into next at the same time that you're doing it
You
all,
can feel it. You feel that
and
vibe or whatever.
you can feel it and you can perceive it. It's like the closest thing to time travel,
Or
I think.
telepathy or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's so like what the essence of it is to me is just so all of your senses that perceive music are are after the fact of what it is. I think it's this that people talk about vibrations and stuff like that, and that's the fundamentals of music right there. Like different vibrations make different pitches and tones, and but that stuff's going on all the time. We just happen to be able to tap into it every now and then.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people talk about it that way, that we're kind of a conduit of organizing those sounds and and making use of the air around us, if you will, once again, right?
Yeah, right?
That's brilliant. So do you, how are you going to release your music, or how do you, excuse me, successfully, I'm going to burp a lot because I'm having a beer for Corey's release, but how do you think, how do you think a musician in 2022 successfully releases music, whether that be a single, an album, an EP, whatever project that might be? How do you successfully do that, and what is your perception on that?
For me, it varies from what I'm involved in. Um, for my own music, like the music that we're talking about that I'm releasing currently, um, I wanted to do something very personal. So, over the last few months, I'm out in Quebec, Canada, Quebec City. And when that second lockdown came through and there was a curfew put in place, um, it was like, oh man, like that was pretty heavy for me. I don't like a lot of authority to begin with, and the curfew was kind of on that side of things. I just didn't like the fact that I could maybe go out for a walk and be questioned about it. I
Yeah.
understand the
Yeah. It
rules,
was just a weird
but
time in
I,
life.
yeah, it was just strange, and it was very strange to me. I'd never really ever been through anything like that before. However, I digress. I was doing this thing on mostly weekends, when in the past I would have been playing gigs or whatever, where I would just randomly message a friend or someone, and I'd be like, "Hey, Anthony, what are you doing right now?" Nothing, because everybody was in lockdown. And I said, "Do you want to hear a song?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure. What is it?" I'm like, "Well, what do you want to hear?" And he'd say, "Oh, I'd love to hear that Incubus song you used to play at the shop or whatever." And I'd say, okay, give me 5 minutes. And I would just, I'd set up my phone, do a voice memo app, and just play acoustically one shot. And you know, and as I was recording, I said, hey, Anthony, buddy, hope you're having a great night. This is for you. Um,
And you
Talk to you
play him a
soon. Love
song.
you.
That's so amazing, dude.
And so I would send this to them, and every time the people would message me back, hey, thank you so much, like that was really nice, and it felt really nice for me to do, and I felt I was fulfilling, you know, because I do love to entertain. I love, as much as I love kind of the cerebral part of music, I do love entertaining as well.
Of course.
And so I got a bit of fulfillment out of that. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, why can't I just release my music this way? I just, I'm not going to put it on Spotify, on Apple Music, Bandcamp, nothing. If you want it, I will give it to you. And I'm going to type you a little message. Hey, thank you very much. Hope you're well, blah, blah, blah. Most of my fan base is just friends and family, people that are very personal to me. So,
Of
so
course.
it's giving the success of my music is it keeps me in touch with the people that I love.
Of course. Yeah, like I was just going to say when you were telling that story, I'm like, well, that seems like a successful release of that cover song that you did directly for that person. You got fulfillment out of it and they got fulfillment out of it. There was a direct connection from artist to fan.
Yeah.
And now I can see how that fulfilled you in a very trying time. And now what I understand is that, as you explained, that is the way you're going to release music because it feels good for you and them, and you make that immediate automatic connection. Is this true?
It is because it just makes sense to me and I relate to this process. I think that there's no right way to release music. So
Okay.
why would there be a wrong way?
Yeah,
You know?
that was the question, so you answered it very well. That's a brilliant thing to say. If there's no right way, then there's no wrong way, and I never have thought of it like that. It's brilliant.
It's just, you know what, for me right now, that's what feels right. So that's the way I'm going to do it for myself. I don't have to answer to anybody with my music. It's all self-funded. It's all produced as much as I can by myself. I do everything I can. So why don't I just release it the way that feels as good as the mix?
Yeah, and
No.
you own it,
Yeah.
and you have the rights to it, and yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. So why don't you? Yeah, that's brilliant,
Yeah.
man. And it's cool to do it that way, man. And so as I understand it, to sort of what you're doing is you're opening up a pay what you can, pay what you wish jar for those of us who are lucky enough to have this music or get this music from you directly.
Yeah, that's something I've always done with my own music.
Yep.
It was initially inspired by when Radiohead released In Rainbows. So
Okay,
I don't know
yeah.
if you remember this,
I do.
but yeah, so like they put it up and just said pay whatever you want. A lot of people paid nothing for it. There
Yep.
was some people that paid thousands of dollars for it.
But they still
So
they still beat what they would have got on their old record deal. Is this not correct?
I'm not sure about that, but I imagine that at the time, the difference. I mean, you're Radiohead. Like I can't. I would have never. I'll never have
Yeah.
the success
It's
that
different for them, of
Radiohead
course.
does doing it that way. But maybe I can get the same gratification doing it that way.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know.
Well, in scalable, like just scale that. So think of it this way: is they have, let's say you have, we're throwing any number out there. Let's say you have 1,000 followers and they have 1,000,000 followers. All it is if they make $1,000,000, you can expect to make $1,000. It's all just scalable. Hopefully, if it's pay what you can, and the population is going to pay what they can, that should translate to every artist. Just it only varies on the number of people that they're reaching. Am I correct? Would that make sense?
I think so. I mean,
I guess there would be
It's-
more wealthy people or more devoted people to them. So they might get, like you said, $1,000 for a copy, whereas you might not, or I don't know.
Yeah, the same fucking guy that goes to the concert and buys all 6 hoodies. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. And has a
it's the
box
same.
seat, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can't listen to the hoodies. You like the brand, or you like the music so much that you want to do it that way. For myself, and this isn't like a gloating thing, but more often than not, if I have friends that are releasing physical copies of music, I'll buy two, and I buy one for me, and then I tell them to make a contest with the other copy, and they don't lose out on a copy. And
Oh, I see
I
what you're saying.
don't.
So they can give one away, but it's paid for. Okay, yeah.
That's right. So I'm contributing to their motion. You know, like it's, uh, and and I do that myself, and I don't do it for any particular reason except for the fact that I understand what it's like to be a musician and how every copy can just, if they're all paid for, great. If you have to give some away, whatever. But for me, I just like, you know what? I It would make me feel great to have your music, and it would make me feel great to know that someone else won a contest to get your music,
Yeah.
and they're excited about it, and it's exciting for everybody. And
Helps them
it's
market,
really,
makes it fun.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's I've always been a pretty uh, big believer in community. It's why I hire mixers sometimes. It's why I hire mastering engineers. I hire people to do artwork because, yeah, sure, I could learn this myself, but there's friends of mine that this is their job. And
Yeah, you're
if I own a restaurant and I'm making pasta, I'm gonna buy the flour from the guy down the street.
good call. Yeah, yeah, you're really
Do you know
good
what
at
I mean?
making. Yeah, you're good at making the economy keep going around. I understand that. It's brilliant. It's because it's going to come back to you as a producer, mixer, musician, writer, or whatever. Excuse me again from the beer. But it's going to come back. It's going to come back to you no matter what, anyway. So we're just
Yeah.
feeding the economy that feeds us. You know what I mean? It's a brilliant way to look at it, and I really enjoy that about your outlook, man. And I appreciate that a lot too.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that a lot. So you have a lot on the go. You're not only a musician and you are releasing music, but you have a podcast, and you're sort of maybe possibly releasing that in tandem with the podcast. Can you explain a little bit about how that is going to tie into everything, or if it is?
Yeah. It's all like uh it's I like to think of my podcast and my Instagram and my music all as kind of a business card of me. So uh mid pandemic, I'd met this young man through YouTube. Amazing drummer from South Jersey. His name's Justin Coulahan. He's like 21 years old or something like that. And we befriended each other, and we started doing these online collaborations, doing covers and stuff like that. Halfway through doing those, I had the idea, oh, like what do you say we do a podcast where we talk about these covers that we're doing, you know? And we were doing this all remotely. We'd never met each other in person before. And I really liked doing that. I have always loved listening to podcasts in general. Always wanted to do one. Could never really figure out what to do one on. Um, and we were doing this where we do these deep dives into these covers that we'd produced together. And after things started to open up, we both didn't have as much time for this, or the focus on it that was kind of just
Yeah, of course.
delegated to us through circumstance.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
we it kind of fizzled out, and I decided, well, I would like to keep doing this podcast. And this was kind of at the same time that I had the notion of releasing the music the way that I am now. And I was like, well, yeah, that's great and everything, and it's got a little mystic to it, but how can I make this more interesting and informative and whatever? And so I thought, well, what if I take the concept of this podcast I did with Justin and apply it to the personnel I've worked with over the years. So I'm a few episodes in now. I'm basically talking to anybody I've ever worked with.
Right on.
You know, if they want to talk with me.
Of course.
Um, so so I tie in the release of these new songs. Like I have the one new song. It's called Trip. I did with Forrest Williams, the original drummer from Big Wreck. So we
Okay.
did a podcast. It was like an hour and a half, and it was fucking great.
Yeah, no, hell it was. I listened
Yeah.
to it. I enjoyed it very much, man. I listen to all your podcasts. I am
Thanks,
some.
man. Like
I
I was like, oh shit, I get to talk to Forrest Williams about the song I worked on with him. Like, cool,
Very cool. Yeah,
cool.
no, that's super rad, dude. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. And it makes you enjoy the podcast and be like engaged in it. And, like it just, when you love something, you put everything into it, dude. And so it's cool that you're going
Yeah.
back to all the people that you've worked with and, you've created something with, which is very personal, and going ahead and having them on the podcast. So that's going to relate to release too, or are you sort of throwing episodes in about your songs, or how does that go?
Right now it's there's not a ton of strategy to it right now. I'm trying to do as many. I mean, you know how this goes because you've been doing this for a bit now too, and much more. I would say much more effectively than I have been. I mean,
What
but
do you
I've seen your cable organization. Like you're amazing and crazy. So
You can see it behind me, actually. It's all zip tied together. It's ridiculous.
yeah. So I mean, it's just like for me, it's just like you're going into a restaurant. I don't know why I'm talking about restaurants so much, but you're going into a restaurant and you're like, what a lovely door. you know like so the is the podcast the door to the music, or is the music the door to the podcast? I don't know. It
Right.
could be both
Right.
ways depending on what people like. Maybe some people will be like, his songs suck but his podcast is great.
Right. No,
Like,
yeah. Oh, totally. I
or
mean,
his podcast sucks but his songs are great. And I kind of took that mentality from the guitar player from Tool, one of my favorite bands. He does all of the artwork for the band, and his kind of statement at one point was like, I want the people that hate our music to think our artwork is fucking awesome. And I
yeah,
was like,
that's how you expand your
great.
market, right? That's how you get more people to like you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So, do you have any special things going along with this album that you'd like to mention about the release? Like, is there any sort of like other special tricks or treats you have up your sleeve?
There's not a ton right now. I'm every time I get an idea in my head, I try and go through with it. However, I mean, even just recording and getting things done, usually for my own stuff, it takes me a very long time. But I do have a show booked in Toronto, Ontario, on the 7th. I guess it's Saturday. I can say Saturday now. On Saturday at Annette Studios in the Junction. If anybody wants tickets to that, they can message me directly, and I'll make sure that's all taken care of.
Am I able to
Um,
link the live stream for that? Will I be able to link the live stream in the description below? Are you streaming that with Adanet Studio?
oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
totally. Yeah,
this
yeah.
episode is
Mark's
going to be
got
out. This episode's going to be out well after you play that show. It's not coming out right away. So I know we're live right now, and anyone live can see it on Twitch, and we'll get you.
Right.
And I will share it on my Instagram and stuff like that. But what I'm going to have to do is put the link
Sweet.
to the stream tomorrow. Or excuse me, the stream on Saturday will be linked below in the description, so anyone can go back and watch that performance that will be
Yeah.
on May 7th. That is 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. No, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
So, Corey, I'm
you
trying
know,
to bank.
I
them.
gotta say thank you everybody for tuning into the live stream.
Totally.
No, but you know what? Honestly, there's not a ton going on with it. I'm really kind of just taking my time with it right now. I think when it comes to my own songs, because I'm working on music with other people every now and then. I work on music with Andy, my wife, and it's
And you're in no hurry.
for my yeah, I'm in no particular rush to do anything at all except for I do love the tone of the podcast, and it makes me feel good about the music too. And yeah, so I'm kind of just doing the podcast thing and releasing the music, like I said, in this way where I basically just send it directly to whoever wants it.
Right.
So
That's brilliant, man. So what do you think there'll ever be a rock star ever again? Like there will be a legendary rock star? Do you think there'll ever be someone who like, like a Jimi Hendrix that, from 2022?
yeah, I do.
You do?
I do. I do. I think there was plenty of amazing, iconic people before Jimi Hendrix, and I think there will be many more after we're long gone. I
Of
think
course.
I think I, there's there's only 12 notes, and look how much they've done. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so I I don't know who those people are going to be. It's that iconic status
Mm-hmm.
of a rock star has just it's it's just so different because you know what? There was probably 100 Hendrixes the time that there was Hendrix. Sorry, Hendrix lovers, but there was.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just didn't hear about them.
Of
You
course.
didn't. You go on YouTube or whatever, and you see some like 6-year-old just absolutely destroying
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Hendrix song.
Yeah.
If that kid would have popped up when Jimmy was playing, guess who people are looking at? They're looking at the kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Totally.
so this kind of like this stratospheric kind of identity of what a rock star is has changed. There's so many people that I perceive as iconic now, and they're so varied. I mean,
Well,
to me, you're iconic to me.
you're a sweet
Like,
guy. I appreciate that. But like what I'm trying to get to is they're saying that about 70 to 75% of the music that is played these days is classic music, or is what is known as old music. Like
right.
like no one remembers the number one hit from 2004, but the number one hit in 1975 is Jolene or whatever it was. We all still listen to it today. It's played on all whatever that is. I'm making that up, but don't quote me, everyone. You're gonna tell
Yeah.
me. Of course, that's not it. But what I'm trying to say is that the number one hit from a certain amount of years, I don't know if it's getting lost in too much other music or if we're just making lazy music. Why is it not lasting? Why is there yacht rock that we will listen to forever? Like kids are back on
Well,
the Beatles again, Again, young kids love the
yeah.
Beatles.
Well, the Beatles. I always thought the big music is kids music. To be honest, like the obla di obla da, like
Yeah. Yellow
it's
Submarine, very childish.
it's yeah, like you know what these songs that are in constant rotation on radio or playlists or have the highest amount of streams. That's safe music, and that's not safe music for only the platform that's being presented on. That's safe music for people that have been around for the last 80 years when music has been able to be distributed. So, you know what? Of course, a legendary song like "Stairway to Heaven" is going to be around forever. So is "Fleur de Lis" by Beethoven.
Okay.
That song's still around too.
Yeah.
This music is a very safe place for most people, and it's most of the time linked to their youth.
Right.
There's a significant amount of music that has been produced and recorded in the last, I don't know, 100 years, 80 years. I don't know when they started recording.
Well, you're close to my
But
age, so let me try to get a little nostalgia on you on here. Okay, so here,
all right.
you're gonna remember this, but it's gonna be non-iconic. Ready? From the windows to the wall, till the sweat dropped down my balls. All these big woody, all these. Remember that song? Like
Is that I Like Big Butts?
I don't know. It's very similar, but anyway, I don't know what the song is, but it's some song that I remember from my youth at the club. Ridiculous song that I don't think is timeless. It does strike nostalgia with me, but I don't think that the next
Sure.
like I listen to Eleanor Rigby and I go, whoa,
Oh, great song.
Still to this day, and I'm a generation or two away from that song. But people who are a generation or two away from the songs that I listen to as a teen, other than maybe the grunge. They might be the last real rock stars, eh? Like Nirvana time, maybe that's the last real.
That's a tricky one because you know what? Like my buddy Justin in Jersey there, he's 21. Um, I have another little buddy. His name is Zach Kaufman. He's from Georgia, and he's like 18 or 19. We kind of just I met him through Justin and the collaborations they did together. We just did one for we did a cover of My Hero for Taylor Hawkins. And I remember talking to these guys one time, and I was like, because these guys, they love STP, they love Soundgarden, they
See?
love
I feel like
like,
that's the
and I'm like,
last. That's the last rock star group, man. Might be the last
yeah,
ones.
and I'm like, I think it's so odd that you guys don't find this music strange.
Okay, but
Like,
now listen. Now go to the next generation, which was new rock, which is Puddle of Mud and Nickelback and stuff. Like, is that gonna be what like that was what was next? Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, like those is what that's what the next generation of rock music was. So tell me, is that going to be iconic? I mean, How You Remind Me probably is actually.
yeah, well, of course it is. I mean,
You
you know
know,
what? Like Chad Kroger doesn't give a shit about the Nickelback hate for a reason. Like,
well, he's got yachts on two coasts, bud. He's got a yacht on the west and a yacht on the east. He doesn't give a shit what you say.
he
You know?
doesn't give a shit, and he shouldn't.
No.
He really shouldn't,
No,
because why should he? You
Okay,
know, like,
so
it's-
apart from Nickelback,
this is a guy that
apart from
Sorry?
Nickelback though, that era, what I'm just trying to get at is that just to get our conversation sort of back on the legendary rock star status is like I feel like progressing forward, like it became, grunge might have been the last rock stars we have, man. There's a lot of backing tracks going on for those other guys, a lot.
it's so difficult to say because every now and then there's something that comes along where I'm like, oh man, like I would love to see this band live. There's been a few new things here and there that really like strike me, and I'm like, oh God, wow, what a band! Wow, I haven't heard anything like this. It's not good to me because it's something. It reminds me of something that I grew up with. It's exciting because it's good and it's new. Like,
Right.
oh wow, something new. And but yes, this whole kind of rock star thing, which for the most part I think is a lot of horse shit. Yeah, maybe the grunge era because these were very sensationalized people.
Well, Nirvana had a
I think
number
the
one
closest thing I could.
over Michael Jackson.
Sorry?
Nirvana had a number one over Michael Jackson, Bo, in 1992.
Yeah,
Like, there's
yeah.
no
I mean,
rock band
when
over Bieber.
Nirvana.
right
Nirvana killed it all.
Yeah.
Like Motley Crue became like Motley Who when when you know
now. Yeah. But
when,
I'm just,
when Nirvana came out, they just decimated everybody, and then eventually Nirvana became not cool. So
Right.
I don't know.
yeah, it's weird, man. What do you've expanded from being a musician to being a recording engineer and producer? How has that journey been for you? And has all of your new music produced by yourself?
For the most part, it is. Yeah, answer these in order. I got more into like serious production over the course of the pandemic, basically just out of necessity and boredom, and it's like, okay, now I have the time to kind of focus on this kind of thing, and it's served me well. It's helped me in some ways, and there's still so much to learn. But if there's anything that I really value from being able to do this stuff by myself, it's elevated my communication with other people that I like to work with, whether it be a drummer or a mixing engineer or a mastering engineer. Like I have a larger vocabulary now that allows me to communicate more effectively and and try and get things done
It's
more clearly.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to do between producer or engineer and an artist, man. So that's a really cool skill to develop. I ask everyone on the podcast, how do you translate what you want out of your song to, whoever's recording it? And it's always difficult. It's always sort of like examples, and everyone's like, I don't know, it's hard. You have to have trust, right? So very good idea to have that
Yeah,
skill.
you have to have trust, and you learn how to trust through these skills. Skill allows you to develop a strategy for your hopes, because your hopes are not strategies. They're just, you know,
Yeah, I know, I
they're like
understand.
gasoline.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they feed that flame, yes.
Yeah, so it's I I like it because, for most of my career, I've mostly worked. I've done a lot on my own. I've written my own songs. I've had my own releases, put out music here and there. But my most effective role has always been a supportive one. So I got a lot of my work through doing touring and session work, a little bit of co-writing here and there, but very very supportive roles. And it's it's allowed me to be in situations that I could learn more skills and not have to focus so much on the execution of them. I could be in the studio when someone was recording, even though I was just. There was this one time I was working with Meredith Shaw, very dear friend of mine, and we were working at Noble Studios with John Angus from the Trues.
Yep.
I just had my job was just to play acoustic guitar on a couple tracks, maybe do a couple backups or whatever, but and that was only 1 or 2 days of that week. But I showed up there every day, and I stayed from the beginning to the end just to be around and absorb what
Absorb,
was going
yeah.
on, and it helped me out later on, because that was years ago now, and as I've kind of gotten to this more production role, I remember what was going on then. I
Yeah.
was present for it.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. And stuff like that also. And when you're playing as a supportive role, you understand when you have to sort of sit back and sort of not overwhelm or put like you're supposed to be there and not make it about you or sound like you. It's supposed to sound like their
Yeah.
record, right? It's supposed to sound like their sound. And so like certain things, like for example, the sheepdogs. They did their first couple of records, I guess. I don't know who they did them with, but then they moved over and they started to do it with the da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. Come on, what are those guys' name?
Black Keys.
Thank you. I knew it's
Black,
on.
Black
Yeah.
Keys.
So then they started to get produced by the Black Keys, Dan, I believe,
Dan
and
Arbach.
yeah, and which is great. It sounded great, but the problem was it sounded kind of like too much like the Black Keys, And I was like, oh, like the drums and everything wasn't really, the sheepdogs anymore. So I think like what you're talking about and the way that you've had a secondary role to sort of sit back and not take over. You're there to only play what you're asked to play, and you're sitting back. You're not the star of the show. It has nothing to do with you. You don't get to stamp this with your approval or anything like that. But so it's important to have that skill, I think, man. And I think you're really good at that, and you're really soft with artists too. I feel like you're gentle with them, and because that's another whole world.
I can
right?
be. Yeah, I can be. No, yeah. You know what? I think there was some. I can't remember. I think it was. Oh, we were talking about self production and stuff. On one of these new songs that I'm releasing, I actually, it was produced in conjunction with Nixon Boyd, he was the guitar player in Colorado,
Okay, yep.
and has now since been producing a lot of music for a lot of different artists. Um, and I really enjoyed working with him, and we completely ripped apart one of my songs, which I was completely open to. Um, and he said something at one point, because I told him, I said, Nick, you're a wonderful producer. Like, I really like working with you. And and I said, you do this very well. I love how your demeanor. You're so calm, so cool, whatever. And he was saying, thanks, man. Like, I sometimes I feel like you're not only producing music, but you're kind of acting as therapist sometimes
Yeah.
too. I don't even know if it was actually him that said that, but it was some producer that said that.
Hmm.
But it's true. Like, you do have to kind of, because these artists that you work with sometimes they're expressing themselves,
We could just
and
say
I
it. They're
might not
fragile.
understand the way that sorry.
We could just say it. They're fragile.
Absolutely, and they should be,
Yeah.
because that like we said before, like, you're kind of you're a conduit, and most conduits are a fragile in a fragile state. They need to be able to transfer energy with the least
Rigidity.
walls, like,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, and to do that requires a pretty,
Openness. Yeah, and I think it's
yeah,
like
a
playing your.
fragile presentness.
Yeah, yeah, totally. No, I get it, and yeah, and you're, especially if you're writing deep songs about deep issues, you have to sort of, be careful around those things and be safe. But also, every artist is fragile, and you're dealing with it. I just think you do it really well, man. And I think that people out there, like myself, who have had trouble sort of connecting with somebody over my art, should seek out a guy like you. And yeah, man, what makes you happy, Corey?
What makes me happy?
Yeah.
Um, I like seeing things work. Um, I think that's why I enjoy music so much, is because the result is so immediate. You know, you can tell very quickly when something is great and when something is absolute fucking garbage. But being able to recognize that something is garbage, especially if it's your own efforts, is a pretty important piece to your development. But I really enjoy. Uh, I consider myself a facilitator, um, in a few different areas of my life, and I've often found myself in leadership positions. Um, Sometimes I impose them. Sometimes I just kind of get promoted to those positions. Um, for instance, uh, I lived in Toronto for a long time, and I was working at Rodgun Barbers, and one of my jobs there, upon working there, was developing our music nights, which Fridays and Saturday nights have live music. They've continued to have it now. I think you just played there.
I did. It was great. And you were the first one to
And
get me in there, so thank you. I meant to mention that at some point here.
no, no problem.
Oh.
I mean, but you know what? My goal with that, and this took fucking years. This probably took 2 or 3 years before I saw the result that I wanted to see, but I knew we could get it. Um, there was one time I was standing out front of the shop. We hadn't quite opened up for the music night yet. I was just getting things ready and just standing out front, having a smoke or something, and this lady and her friend were walking by, and they said, "Who's playing tonight?" And I was like, "I don't know, like Ron Leary or whoever." Like, and they're like, "Oh, good." And I'm like, "Oh, do you know Ron?" She goes, "No, I have no idea who Ron is, but the music here is always great." And when she said that, I was like, "Yes, that's perfect." That's all I wanted people to think of when
Right.
they were coming to the
You
shop,
had
or when they thought about the shop.
yeah,
Was
you
just
had a
like,
lineup that was undeniable every time.
yeah, and sometimes there was some misses. We took some chances, and we took a couple swings, but I mean, overall, it was just the standard, upheld itself, and we just had to be there to reinforce it whenever it was kind of weak. But it I really love that. That makes me really happy, just seeing it all kind of work together. Like, I've never been much of a gardener or anything like that, but I that's the probably the closest I'll get to it is just, helping,
You're
getting
building
involved.
you're building a
You
music
know.
garden. Otherwise,
Yeah,
your things can
totally.
grow there. You plant these seeds, and like I played there on Saturday, which is a while ago from now, but because this is not coming out on YouTube at the Anyways, doesn't matter. I played
Right.
there, dude. The place was packed. The tip jar
Oh, good.
was overstuffed. Everyone had nothing but great things to say. And I walked out of there with a full heart, man. The number of people that came up to me that night and said, "Oh man, oh, I can't believe," like just the number of one-on-one personal thank yous and
Yeah.
bravos I got was out of this world, dude. So just to make you more happy, it's going strong there, man. It's going great. And some other places that had music before are not doing music anymore. And
Yeah.
so like the vibe is all the music people are going there now, and it's very, very busy there. So well done, man.
Yes. And you know what the thing is too is that everybody that has played there before, they know what to expect. If anything, they have the chance to be more uplifted.
You've
And everybody that hasn't been there before is walking into a pretty sick situation.
oh yeah, it's hella sick.
And the staff that I think Paula's taken over the bookings
Yeah, yeah.
now or whatever, but they know the standard too, and nobody wants to, like, there's just room for it to be better. There's always room for it to be better in ways that I could never take it, but I believe I set a precedent of, like, yeah, you know what? This is a great place to play. You're going to be taken care of, and people are going to like you. And I don't know.
It's a cultural
Uh,
spot at this point, my man. Just so you know. So well done on that, man. I hope that makes you
yeah.
happy. I hope that's one thing that you planted that grew and is still growing to this day. So hope you get a chance to check it out when you're back here this coming trip to Toronto.
Oh, I will be going to see Alan Piggins after our little set at your place on Friday. So,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Rock and roll, dude. Yeah. I can't wait to have you here. Kori will be here performing not long from now. Yeah, man, that's cool. Did you want to, what do you feel like? Should we introduce some music today, or are we just going to chat it out today?
Um,
What do you feel? What are you feeling?
well, well, let's see here. We have options. So we have some recorded music, or I could play a little bit of something. Um,
Well, listen, for me, just because I am such a live performance guy, I would love it if you would play a song. It would just be,
you know what? I have an idea.
okay.
Let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna play something here.
Hold on. Can I
Hold
put you on full screen? Hold on. Uh-oh. Things are going crazy over
Yeah.
there. Oh, we got reverb. Okay, I'm going to throw you on full screen. We're going to get Kori to perform us a song right now. This is going to be beautiful. I'm going to put you on the full screen, Kori, for a performance, and I'm going to mute myself, all right, my man, so that I don't interrupt you and you can just take the whole thing. It's all you.
Okay. I'm gonna play you a song, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is. Beg your pardon, I need to speak. It's not just my bed. Nothing is steady. All my dreams on holiday, and here is me. I'm stuck doing the night shift. About these things I need to say. It's not just my hands, I've always been shaky. Yeah. I'll take tomorrow as it's dry, with some sorrow. with my means. I'm just missing some kind of return. But what I mean is, there's not a single person around, no one to even trade my shifts with. And about these things I need to say, it'll take 1,000 heartbreaks to explain to me by someone other than you and no one like me. So Lord, 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 can you help me? I see stars and I'm wicked about it, storms always crying about it. How does one make you take that pain? I'll take tomorrow as it strikes with some sorrow on the side. Remember, 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 remember what I needed to say. It's not just my heart or mind these days. Unbound and unspoken with ease, but never sound. Ready to fall in love, but I'm finding out more slowly. I'm as ever as winter, and now for now, I'm far too used to love's theme.
My dude, that was lightning and fire and thunder all at once. So smooth, so silky. I love it.
Thank you. That is so that song is actually called Dirty Mirror, and I just sent you a version of that, and that's the one I did with Nixon. That is the original version of that song.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe at some point we can play that, or you can listen to it, but yeah. No, I wanted to play that one because as we've been talking here, there's a lot of our conversation that is so related to movement, transformation, and just perception of, ourselves. My music becomes a perception of myself much later than I realize. There's a lot of my writing is I don't think too much lyrically. Like I've never been too much of a lyric guy. But as I listen to these things later, I'm like, oh my God, I actually was writing about something. I was just so separated from it.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. It's like sometimes I listen back, I'm like, I have some pretty killer cool lines that I didn't realize were kind of so cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, like it's nice. So
it takes a while though, doesn't it?
That because, sorry,
it takes a while though, doesn't it? Like it takes sometimes it's like 6-8 months later. You're like, wow, that's actually good.
Yeah. No, I think it should. I think it's just like having an argument with somebody where you're like, fuck, they're right, and like,
Yeah.
I think we can easily do that with ourselves and these little timestamps that we create through our artwork and our music and our experiences.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate that. So you had it was the fella from Colorado that helped produce that one there.
Yeah, Nixon, and so I'll have an episode coming out with Nixon where we talk a bit about it, and his brother Jake, he played the drums on that song, and me and Nix, we did everything else. He mixed it. We had Christian Montano at Montano master it, and it was just a blast. And yeah, the version I did with Nick is very different from what I just played you. Very different, and lyrically completely different.
Oh wow,
completely different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, maybe we should play that tune. We can do that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just because I just played that one, so let's listen to the
Dirty Mirror.
yeah.
Okay, I have to do that. Sorry about that sound. Woof. I have to remove the other one that I made first, right? Okay. So I'm going to throw this on. I'm going to mute myself, although I'll just leave us on here so we can bob our heads to it, and we'll listen to the song, the recorded version, and how different these are. You'll be able to rewind this back to listen to the first version and then fast forward to this recorded version.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Exactly. And this is actually the debut. This is the first time this recording has been
amazing.
shared publicly. So
thanks, dude.
so
Okay, well,
I'm gonna mute myself too, and
okay, let me mute.
I'll just wait to hear you come back before I talk again. Okay.
Cool. I'm going to mute myself right now, and then I'm going to open up this song, and it's going to start playing a Dirty Mirror, the final recorded version, the world debut. Thank you so much for doing that here with me, Kori. That's brave of you. Appreciate that. All right.
I love it.
Let's mute ourselves. We are back. I am almost sure the song looped through twice, buddy. It's like
I, uh,
3:22.
I had the audio for the beginning and then it went away
Well,
on
I
me.
took it
But
off because it was doubling in the stream, so that's okay. I'll edit what happened there. It's all good. Yeah, it definitely loop. So we almost got two versions of it, but I wish I kept it going to the end of the second version because the first one had doubling at the beginning. That was my silly
hey
fault.
man,
Tech is
hey,
hard, man. We're
you
doing
know
this
what?
live.
I go by the Volume Academy is kind of a title for what I do, and at the Volume Academy, you get double what you pay for. So
There you
that's a
go.
taste.
There you
Yeah.
go. We definitely did. Well, I will fix that up. But yeah, it's interesting to hear. I did hear the beginning with you, but it's interesting to hear how a
Yeah.
song can evolve and just the feel of it, the way the recording versus the performances. And so, how is that different for you, like being a performing artist and then being a recording artist? What is your favorite to do and why?
I love recording because I love how molecular it becomes.
Okay.
Um,
It's more
you can
mathematical.
you can just you can just go so deep
Yeah, you go
with
right in
recording.
there. Just keep zooming
You
in.
really can just like you can just go as far as you ever wanted to go. Um, and with performance, you're at the mercy of the moment. That's a little dramatic, but you performance and recording, it's the same shit, but it's the process of it is just different. The thinking, the intention behind
I think
either is so different.
I think what's different for me, and I always talk about this, is that like when I do something wrong in a live performance, it's literally gone that instant, never to be heard
Yeah,
again. It's like, oh, that's
yeah,
gone. No one can hear that again. If you weren't present for that, you didn't hear it, and thank goodness. But
yeah. If you
but when
get
you're
that shit mastered and it's on repeat, like, oh, yeah,
yeah, but if you're recording, yeah, like I'm saying, if you're recording something, you're gonna pay all this money. You have to sit there and get down to the nitty gritty and get it exactly right. And like, there's a lot
yeah.
of
And
things
then
that
if
mean
you want the
right,
blend of the two,
right, performance
sorry,
and
go
yeah.
ahead, Kevin.
No, it's okay. I just mean like, yeah, you want to sort of capture, a performance, and but the performance is there forever. So it's like a bit of a different performance. You got to you can mechanically break
Yeah,
that down as well, molecularly. Each phrase, each word, each vowel.
yeah, yeah. Gene therapy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
molecular, all right. Well, dude, you're
yeah.
you're one of my greatest musical friends. One of my, I really enjoy what you do, and I can trust you to show up for a gig if I get you one, which is tough nowadays that you're not here. My Rolodex of people
Yeah.
to hand gigs off to has gotten quite small, so I look forward to
Yeah.
seeing you here. I know that we're going to have you here performing. I think you're going to be performing most of your new tunes here in the bunker when you do join us.
Yeah, I like I said before, when it comes to my stuff, there's not usually much of a plan, but I will be playing some of my music. I'm
Cool.
excited to see you.
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
too, man.
excited to see you, man. Um, One other thing I wanted to mention, um, have a Patreon going right now. There's only one tier to it, and it's just a basic subscription thing, basic like a support kind of thing. So if you feel inclined, and this is something I kind of include with the emails or when I send my music to people, I usually have this little blurb to go along with it, but and it kind of ties into uh, what you were asking about.
Pay what
I
you
can't
can,
remember
sort
if
of
it was
thing.
like enjoyment or success
Oh yeah, it was
what do
successful
I?
release. Yeah, is getting it to somebody and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So May 8th, my birthday, plus kind of the official release date. When I do the show at Annette Studios on the 7th, I'll be taking email list of people if they want the music, they just have to leave their email, and then I'll send them a message with the song and songs. And what I want people to know is that if they subscribe to this Patreon between May 8th of 2022 and 2023, I'll be keeping a good track of this Patreon and donations that are made towards the releases that I do. And once we hit May 2023, I'll be evaluating the earnings from all this, and I'll be taking a percentage and donating it to my high school music program back in Dryden, Ontario.
Wonderful, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's just part of me buying the flour from the guy down the street and the kid I have working in the kitchen making the pizza better than I ever could.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, keeping a community and giving a little bit back, and that's where you came from, right? So, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's where I came from, and that's what I want to do with my music. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, Kori. Well, I'm gonna pull you a fortune cookie right now because I saved them all to write songs. So I'm gonna dump this out. I'm just gonna pull one out of here. Today, your fortune is.
Oh yeah.
Hold on here. Today, your fortune is follow the advice of a trusted friend this week.
Okay, well, what do you think I should do, Kevin?
What did I tell you before this podcast started? I said, you need to get your podcast links available to me so that I can put them in the description.
Yeah, link tree.
Some sort of link tree or something. We'll have all the links to Kori's podcast. We're going to have a link to the Show at Annette studio below. We're going to have a link for everything Kori available for you guys. If you want to check out the podcast, if you want to get into the Patreon, whatever else he has for me, I will get it all together. It will be in the description of the video, and you will be able to get everything you need for Kori. I promise that. Kori, I can't wait to have you here, my man. I'm looking super forward to hearing your original set. We're going to stream it live on Twitch and put it up on YouTube, and the same as we do for the podcast. It's all part of my sort of marketing plan of this whole space I built. My marketing is around the bunker, Kev from the bunker, Pod from the bunker, live from the bunker. And
I love it, Kev.
Yeah, so I look forward to having you.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do in this community too. It inspires me. You're such a fucking hard, crazy worker, dude, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I couldn't live a
and
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I like it's inspiring to me, you know. So it's a pleasure getting to know you over the years, and I love what you're doing with this. And I can't even fucking keep up, man. I can't keep up with the amount of output you have. It's amazing. Yeah, well, so keep doing it.
Thanks, man. I'm trying to bank them too. I want to get ahead because, you know, the things happen and musicians are tough to keep on track. I've had a couple cancellations and things go wrong. So that's why this episode is coming out a couple weeks after we've actually recorded it. But like I said, all the links for everything will be below, and Kori's music will be out and about, available for all of you to listen to. So check out the links. Drop him a little bit of dollar bills, because you know half of your money that you do pay for this record is going to go to his high school music program. So, dude, I love you so much, man. I can't wait to see you again. The countdown is on, and I'm gonna let you go and have the rest of your night and get some rest, and we'll talk very soon. Okay, my brother?
I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man. Thanks for talking. I'll talk to you soon, man. Later. Here we go. Uncle Kev's back in the house. All right, let's move that over there. Cool. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Get some beats on. Well, there it is. Another episode live from the bunker. One of my good pals, Mr. Kori Kameda. I'm looking forward to having him. To be honest with you, his live session is already out. He's already played here, according to the release schedule that I have for all this stuff. If you want to get to know all of this stuff live and watch it live, you come on over to my Twitch. It's right below me there. Kev from the bunker. Check it out. And if you're watching this after the fact, when we've recorded it on YouTube, thank you. Please like the video. Comment any questions you have for Kori. Check out the links below. Share this with somebody you might know. I'm just trying to grow this platform so that I can share all of the musicians that I know and that I love. And we have plenty more coming at you next week and the week after and the week after. And we have live sessions and lots of great stuff. So please hang in there with me. Subscribe. I love you all. Everyone here on Twitch who's watching me live, I appreciate you guys for being here live. If you're watching on YouTube, I don't know why you're not here live. You can throw some, you can do some chatting and all the rest of it. I'm going to throw it over to my mods right now who are going to rate another musician at this point. And I'm going to, until next time, I'm going to ask you guys to keep it between the mustard and the mayonnaise, please. Thank you so much. I love you all.